What is good? Welcome to Chatwin Reacts. I'm Jack, your British go, and today we're going to be reacting to the official history of the NFL rules. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to tell me all the rules I need to know about, but this is going to give me the history of them, which will help us more when the season starts in a month or two. Because half the time I have no idea why I'm seeing yellow flags thrown on the pitch, and I get one or two, but not a lot. Not a lot. Like, my understanding is so little. It's kind of embarrassing. As always, three things we've got to do before we get into video. Number one, you get down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and just stay up to date with all the uploads. And put a goat in the goat chain. Let's go.
Did you know there are 19 rules, 116 sections, and 343 articles in the NFL rulebook? The game of football can be real complex.
334
so
over
back, we're
19
through
rules.
The evolution
Seems a bit overkill.
Rules. We begin in the 1920s. The league known as the APFA, later changed to the NFL, was founded in 1920 and based its original set of rules on the college game. The league would simply go along with rule changes made by the Intercollegiate Rules Committee. Jump ahead to the final game of the 1932 season. The Portsmouth Spartans faced the Chicago Bears in a game that would decide the NFL championship. Bears fullback Bronco Nagurski carried the ball toward the line of scrimmage only to stop and complete a jump pass for the game's decisive touchdown. Now at that point, a player had to be at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he threw a pass.
Okay.
The Spartans argued the controversial ruling to no avail. As a result, the league appointed its own rules committee in 1932, tasked with modifying college rules that would create a more fan-friendly NFL product. The game would open up drastically. The following season, a forward pass became legal from anywhere behind the line of scrimmage. Goalposts were moved from the end line to the goal line, making field goal attempts easier. Before 1933, when the ball was dead near the sideline, it was next put in play at the dead ball spot. But starting in the 33 season, the ball would be put in play at the hash marks, 10 yards from each sideline, giving offenses more space to operate. In 1934, the league removed penalties for multiple incomplete passes in a series of downs. Yes, that was penalized. 4 years later, rules for roughing the passer were modified, providing more protection for the league's first prolific passers like Sid Luckman and Sammy Baugh.
Every time he throws the football, completes a pass.
So if I'm understanding and thinking that if random quarterback named Tom Brady, it's not random, is it, did 4 or 5 awful passes, he could have been penalised for that back in the day. Brady probably wasn't one of those type of players, but I imagine down below you can list many quarterbacks that would be
major changes to the
screwed
NFL
nowadays.
Over the next 3 decades were created in large part to make the game safer and more fan-friendly. In 1943, helmets became mandatory. In 1945, hash marks were moved 20 yards from the sidelines. Did you know an incomplete pass behind the goal line used to be ruled a safety? It did. This Sammy Baugh pass in the 1945 NFL Championship game struck the crossbar, falling incomplete and resulting in the game-deciding 2-point safety. The rule was changed the following season so that it was merely an incomplete pass and loss of down. In 1948, plastic helmets were prohibited. Tees were allowed on kickoffs, and referees were given whistles instead of horns. Yes, they used to have horns. In 1949, the league passed a rule permitting unlimited substitutions whenever the ball was dead. Football would become a game of offensive and defensive specialists as rosters expanded over the next several
I'm not going to pause this too many times, it's the longest video, but that's actually one thing I've never even thought about with football. Like in my football, soccer, you can have 5 substitutes during the match. I didn't even know, because I know obviously you've got your special teams, your offense and your defense. Can you swap and change as you want? Like I've never actually thought about that.
Fast forward to 1955, a rule change declared the ball dead immediately when a ball carrier touched the ground with any part of his body except his hands or feet while in the grasp of an opponent.
Otto suffered a deep facial wound on this play, one that required 15 stitches to close.
This hit on Otto Graham knocked him out of a 1953 game against the 49ers. Cleveland coach Paul Brown needed a solution. After 15 stitches, the team would piece together a clear plastic bar protecting Graham's face in the second half. Graham led the Browns to victory, and by 1955, most of the league was wearing face masks. The NFL outlawed the grabbing or pulling of a face mask of any player except the runner in 1956. The exception for the runner was eliminated in 1962.
I didn't get that. 24. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's look like a mechanism.
Brown was so far ahead of his time that in '56 he experimented with a radio receiver.
Is this the Brown that the Cleveland Browns was named after?
Brown would call in plays using a transmitter on his own sideline. Now, was it perfect? No, not exactly. Brown's quarterbacks would often hear taxi dispatchers and police scanners in the huddle. Cleveland would use this method in just 4 games before NFL Commissioner Bert Bell banned all helmet radio communication. It wasn't until 1994 when the ban was lifted and it became legal to call.
So I'm guessing you had to run. I guess you had to remember what they want to do or run back to the
this season, they're radioed into the quarterbacks with special radio receivers in the quarterback helmets.
In 1968, Commissioner Pete Rozelle created the league's first competition committee, which continues to help maintain balance and consistency today. It replaced the Rules Committee started in 1932 and would be in charge of all competitive aspects of the game, including rules. All committee members are selected by the NFL Commissioner. To be adopted, a new rule or a revision must have the support of 75% of the NFL's owners. Let's skip to the 1970s. In '72, the league moved hash marks to their present-day location, exactly in line with each goalpost. The goal was to help offenses by widening the short side of the field, where defenses used the sideline as an extra defender. The rule change in '72 doubled the number of 1,000-yard rushers from 5 to 10.
With the snap.
I guess because it was too close before you could
While
easier
the bruising, smashing off style of play was effective for teams like the undefeated '72 Dolphins, the overall impact was not what the NFL desired. And in turn, the league made sweeping rule changes geared again toward opening up the passing game. Question for you. Have you ever heard of Isaac Curtis?
I have
not. In 1973, the Bengals rookie receiver made an immediate impact as a big play threat with 5 touchdowns of 50-plus yards. As a result, Dolphins coach Don Shula developed a special game plan for Curtis in the '73 playoffs. That game plan? Smother him at all costs. Miami's defensive backs bumped and disrupted the speedy receiver on their way to a 34-16 win. The controversy persuaded the Rules Committee to institute the Isaac Curtis Rule in 1974. It allowed a defensive player to make contact with the receiver only once after 3 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Play action fake to Miller, who stays in to block. And Lee.
Would that now be like a...
For Sammy White, no good. A flag on the play. Charlie Waters and Benny Barnes evidently interfering.
Well, it's interference now, is it?
That's not all from 1974.
Holding.
The goalposts were moved back from the goal line to the end line, where they've stayed ever since. We also saw kickoffs move from the 40 to the 35-yard line, and sudden death overtime was introduced for all regular season games.
It's a fake. Rouse looking for someone to throw it to. Fires. Touchdown. The point. The game is over. What do you know about that?
I've got a video coming out, or it might already be out
about the league banned the head slam, a move made famous by Hall of Fame defensive end Deacon Jones. Offensive linemen were also prohibited from thrusting their hands to an opponent's neck, face, or head. And now it's one of the most influential rules in NFL history, the Mel Blount rule.
And he winds up and throws, intercepted by Blount at the 20.
Steelers All-Pro cornerback Mel Blount was so dominant at jamming wide receivers that the league had to change its rules. Beginning in 1978, defenders could only make contact with receivers to the point of 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. The rule opened up the passing game considerably. Passing yards went up from 141.9 yards per game in 1977 all the way up to 204.4 yards per game.
So you've got to basically let them have a bit of a run.
Air Coryell
that's only 5 yards, but...
and Bill Walsh's West Coast offense revolutionized the game, and the 49ers brought 4 Super Bowl trophies to San Francisco. But back to 1978.
Oakland trails 20-14. Stabler back. Here comes the rush. He sidesteps. Can he throw? He can. The ball Flip forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball. It is ruled a fumble. Casper is recovered in the end zone.
But he was almost palming that forward.
On the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
The Holy Roller. The chaotic and controversial sequence caused a ruling that stated if an offensive player fumbles on 4th down or any time after the 2-minute warning, only the fumbling player can recover and advance the ball. In 1980, under the ruling of personal foul, players were prohibited from directly striking, swinging, or clubbing on the head, neck, or face. A year later, the NFL banned the use of stickum. Jump ahead to 1986, where for the first time ever, owners adopted the use of instant replay.
Mikowski throws, touchdown! But a penalty marker is down. Mikowski was over the line of scrimmage when he let it go. They're reviewing the tape right now. Well, this is the first time that the game actually hinges on that one call.
We have a reversal. Touchdown!
They actually adopted that to 1991,
a lot earlier than I thought they would have.
2.2 plays per game, with just 12.6% of those plays being overturned.
You're thinking soccer, we only implemented that like 5-6 years ago.
Deciding that replays delayed games and failed to get enough calls correct. 2 years later, in 1994, kickoffs were moved from the 35 to the 30-yard line, and the 2-point conversion was adopted 34 years after the AFL introduced the idea.
Then the last couple of years has sort of disappeared. The fake and the 2-point conversion, the first of the season for the Browns, is good.
By 1995, helmet-to-helmet contact on a defenseless player was penalized and subject to fine.
Again, I can see why
it became illegal to remove your helmet while on the field.
Under some heat. He got rid of it. John Tate is running with the football.
Beautiful blocks.
Flags come down.
Dwayne Rudd threw his helmet while the play was going on. That's a defensive penalty.
30 yards away. Anderson. He nails it. Kansas City wins.
7 seasons
so
after it left the game, instant replay returned with a challenge system in 1999.
Red challenge, is it?
Coaches were allowed 2 challenges per half, with a timeout charged for any unsuccessful challenge. A replay assistant would initiate all reviews inside 2 minutes of each half. The following season, all team touchdown celebrations were outlawed, limiting them to just 1 play. Safe to say, the league's wide receivers made the most of that.
Is that a pin?
And he pulled it out and autographed the ball.
There's a new one. He's got his own phone.
And now he's running the camera.
It's actually pretty funny.
All right, I'll level with you. If you are a Raider fan, now would be a good time to look away.
I'm not a Raiders
fan, because we got to talk about the tuck rule.
Blitz. Lost the football. It's on the ground. Covered by the Raiders. Brady's arm was in motion.
No doubt his arm is going forward.
The quarterback's arm was going forward. It is an incomplete pass.
Love it, hate it. This was the rule. When an offensive player is holding the ball to pass it forward, any intentional forward movement of his arm starts a forward pass. Even if the player loses possession of the ball as he is attempting to tuck it back toward his body. And thus the Pats would go on to win the game, launching a 2-decade dynasty alive and well today. In 2013, owners voted 29-1 to abolish the tuck rule.
And I imagine the one was probably the Patriots.
Due in large part to Bill Belichick's stifling defense of Peyton Manning in the 2003 AFC Championship game, the league made it a priority to reinforce illegal contact. Beginning in 2004, the rule would be enforced more aggressively, clearing the skies for NFL passers.
Protection stays in. He throws to Stokely. Touchdown! That's the record breaker. He broke it to Stokely.
A year later, the horse collar tackle was eliminated, forbidding defenders from grabbing a ball carrier from inside the shoulder pads. In the 2010 playoffs, the league installed a modified sudden death overtime system to help determine a winner in a tie game. 2 years later, the league expanded those rules to cover
I actually think your overtime is a bit harsh.
The current rules give both teams the opportunity to possess the ball at least once in overtime, unless the team that receives the overtime kickoff scores a touchdown on its first possession.
Second and goal.
Like, I was going to say, like Brady did in 51.
Right James White tucks it under the right arm, cuts it upfield.
In a couple of days, I actually did a reaction to the whole of the drive.
For the Patriots.
Which day I can't even speak. I did a video on that. The overtime drive.
The replay official would now review all scoring plays. That same season, kickoffs were moved from the 30 back to the 35-yard line. Beginning in 2013, the NFL also penalized runners and tacklers for initiating forcible contact with the crown of the helmet outside the tackle box. And in an effort to add extra drama to each game, owners voted to move extra points back to the 15-yard line for the 2015 season.
Here we
what
go.
did it used to be?
Out of the lead. House It's no good! Are you serious? You can't even make it up.
In 2017, the league approved shortening overtime in the regular season to 10 minutes from 15. Also, the ball would be placed at the 25 rather than the 20-yard line following a touchback. And guess what else returned? Team celebrations. Here we go.
Little game of hide and seek. I got to give this one major style points.
It's duck, duck, goose.
Baseball postseason, Eagles season looking good. And a tug of war. That's a pretty good one there.
Potato sack race.
That is fantastic. In 2018, we saw new rules on the process of a catch.
I love the
After nearly a decade of controversial rulings involving Calvin Johnson, Des Bryant, and Jesse James, the league released these 3 requirements for a legal catch. Here we go. Number 1, secure control of the ball prior to the ball touching the ground. Number 2, touch the ground inbounds with both feet or with any part of the body other than the hands. And number 3,
I didn't know you had to have both feet.
You love it. Perform a football act or maintain control of the ball long enough to do so. The NFL again took steps in player safety in 2018 when it became illegal for a player to lower his head and initiate contact with the helmet. And in 2019, we saw the experiment of using instant replay to review pass interference. And there you have it. You are schooled on all the rules.
I am more up to date with the rules.
Now you go enjoy that next century of the NFL.
What a very well good made video. It's just something I've noticed, especially doing a lot of these NFL videos. Like the creators that make these videos, and I always make sure I link them down below. They make fucking good videos. Really good videos. It's great. I really love doing them. Look, as always, let me know down in the comments what you want me to see. What is your least favourite rule? Don't give me a favourite rule because no one likes rules. What rule do you wish they just got rid of? There was no hope. There's no use. Let me know if you think that down below. And of course, way down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, put a goat in the go chain. Boys.